Richard Strauss is considered one of the last great German Romantic, post-Romantic, and modernist composers. His life has striking similarities with the two other composers on our October program. Like Mozart, he was a compositional prodigy from an early age, began his musical studies with his father, and became a towering figure in European culture. Similar to Shostakovich, he was born into an imperial culture that eventually turned into a brutal totalitarian state in which he had to survive through artistic stealth and cleverness. Both Strauss and Shostakovich became controversial figures in the 20th century. Their fame both saved and trapped them into an ongoing historical debate about whether they were benefactors of these regimes or dissidents caught up in a struggle to survive. Strauss was born in Munich in 1864 in the Kingdom of Bavaria, 7 years before the unification that would become the country of Germany. His father, Franz Strauss, was an excellent horn player and was principal horn of the court opera. He also taught at the Hochschule for Music in Munich. His mother, Josephine Schor, was the daughter of a successful brewer in Munich, and you can still taste his beer today. Like Mozart, Strauss was a child prodigy, although we rarely think of him as such. He began piano and composition lessons at age 4, and by age 6 was composing his own works for voice and piano. By age 10, he had already composed over 25 pieces, many of which are still published today. His father was a conservative musician and wanted the young Strauss to follow in the stylistic footsteps of his heroes, Beethoven, Haydn, Mozart, Schubert, Schumann, and Mendelssohn. But at age 10, Richard heard his first Wagner operas and was changed forever. Suspicious of Wagner's music, Franz forbade his son to study Wagner at all, and it was not until Richard was 16 that he obtained his first Wagner score to study. 2 years later, he attended the world premiere of Wagner's Parsifal, with his father playing horn in the orchestra at the Bayreuth Festival. Between the ages of 6 and 21, Strauss developed as a musician through lessons with his father and others, attending orchestra rehearsals, and giving performances. He was also quickly becoming a gifted conductor, and in 1885, at age 21, he assumed an interim post as the main conductor of the orchestra at Meiningen. He prepared the world premiere of the Brahms Fourth Symphony there, and developed an intense admiration for Brahms and his music. During this time, he became friends with the violinist and composer Alexander Ritter, who was also married to Wagner's niece. It was Ritter who encouraged Strauss to further explore the music of Wagner and Liszt, and 1 year later, Strauss composed the first of the 10-tone poems that would make him an international sensation, till Eulenspiegel's Merry Pranks is his 5th in the series. His gift for wordless storytelling and description through music was unrivaled. His genius and inventiveness with orchestration, harmonic language, counterpoint, and texture presented his subject matter in vivid sonic imagery. He once said, "I want to be able to depict in music a glass of beer so accurately that every listener can tell whether it's a Pilsner or a Kulmbacher." Composed in 1895, when Strauss was only 30 years old, Till Eulenspiegel's Merry Pranks is a musical telling of a folk tale from German history that goes back as far as the 1500s. Eulenspiegel, which means owl's mirror, may have been an actual person who went around playing pranks on people to point out their faults and hypocrisies. The idea of owl mirror actually comes from an old German proverb, which means man recognizes his faults as dimly as an owl recognizes his own reflection in a mirror. Strauss's telling of the story actually has a narrative that he provided. Merry Till cavorts through life, his jaunty progress charted at first by a carefree tune for solo horn. anti-hero enjoys poking fun at mankind's pretensions, religious hypocrisy, and the world of academia. He disrupts a village market, unsuccessfully attempts to find true love, impersonates a priest, and continues whistling on his way. An ear-splitting roll on the side drum signals that Till must answer for his crimes. He is brought before a judge and jury, yet is unwilling to observe the trial in silence until the death sentence is announced. Trumpets and drums herald Till's journey to the scaffold, where his merry pranks are ended. However, at the end of the tone poem, after a short, somewhat sorrowful epilogue, we can hear him laughing at us from above. There is much more to this story of Richard Strauss, and we will explore more of it later in the season when we look at his 4 last songs. I hope you'll enjoy our chamber music version of Strauss's To Eulenspiegel on our upcoming Peoria Symphony broadcast on WTVP. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the concert hall.